Westworld wraps up its 4th season in a tidy package with its season finale. Just kidding. We'll talk about Caleb and Frankie's escape from the city, the showdown between Hale and William, and what Christina actually is. The couch has seatbelts on it this week, so strap in. It's going to get bumpy. It's the Watchers on the Couch. Welcome back to Watchers on the Couch. Today we're discussing the season finale of Westworld Season 4, Episode 8, Que Sera Sera. I'm Tim.
And I'm Mike.
Oh, Mike, Que Sera Sera. Whatever will be, and what it be is bullshit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's we should start off before we get into the episode proper. Do you have anything to add about the previous episode? Since
No, I think you and Tim, or you and Sarah covered it pretty well.
Awesome.
Any of the gripes, I mean, you pretty much covered. I could have pitched about that a lot more, but
well,
yeah, I don't. Honestly, I don't even want to go back to it because I barely even want to talk. I don't want to talk about this episode. Like, I don't have anything positive to say. I'm just going to be that guy that just bitches about the whole thing. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
I can't find anything in this episode that was satisfying, and I think it went along this season as far as like later in the season, you know, like episode 6, kind of like, so like, I don't know. I mean, there's, you know, a couple more episodes left, you know, episode 7, like, well, I don't know, maybe, you know, the season finale will be cool. It's shit.
Right.
It's made for TV Hallmark bullshit. Like, it's soap opera. It's I don't know.
It's not even worse than that. Like, I think even that would be giving it more credit than it's due. And it's like Mike and I don't do this show. Like, we don't cover shows because we hate it. That's not fun. It's not. We've got better things to do with our time. We watch shows because we either like them once or we still think they have promise. And Season 4 started off with a lot of promise. We had gripes with the first 5 episodes, but for the most part, we thought it's like, hey man, they're getting back on track. And then it's Season 6, man, it started a downhill slide until it completely tanked this episode. So I liked a decent chunk of this episode up to the department store. About the first half of the episode, I was still convinced that I was still hopeful. I wasn't convinced that they might stick the landing, and they didn't. In fact, the way this episode ends might have ruined the entire series for me.
Hey, no, that's not true. So, like, well, I don't know. Go back and watch season 1 because it's still rewatchable and it's still really great. Like, it's one of the best seasons of television I've ever watched. Like, it's amazing. So, I'm thankful that they at least gave us that. Mm-hmm. But with this fucking season, yeah, they can just you go fuck off. Yeah,
and I saw like halfway through,
it's like not good.
Once they got to the department store stuff, it was like this was when it was going bad, and that might be less than halfway through the episode. Now that I think about it.
Well, like I was so disappointed in this episode that I was like, "What the fuck am I even watching this show? Like, why do I keep watching it?" And then, so I went back and started watching season 1. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why, because it has the potential to be this, like to be this good. And season 1 was just amazing. It was so intriguing. There was so much world building and character development, and the storytelling was great and hit every mark, and you know, kept you interested every episode. It was, and still, even on a rewatch, it's still great. So, but I hated that I even had to watch this episode more than once.
Oh, you watched it more than once? I didn't.
I did.
Oh,
so like maybe I missed something, you know. I am a dum-dum, like a real dum-dum, considering you know, I thought there were 2 Hales. Sorry about that one. I'm a freaking idiot.
That's all right. Hey, we thought there was going to be a DeLawrence too, and there was no DeLawrence. So
yeah, I don't know why I really thought there was. I thought maybe I heard something, so I guess I didn't, and I don't know, put that in my mind like I really heard something. So
yeah, well, that's usually I don't out and out dislike something. It's usually like that was really good or it was fine. And it's rare that it's like I just want to shit all over something until like we've been doing this show for almost 8 years. And it's rare that I'm like, dude, fuck this. And it's even rarer that all 3 of the original watchers on the couch are in unanimous agreement because Sera did not like this episode at all either.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah, that's really rare. So I think this was worse than the series finale of Game of Thrones.
I was actually thinking about that. It's like, because, well, we can probably get into that towards the end, but it was like with a season that started off with such promise and ended as poorly as it did in the last 3 episodes. I feel like this season is worse than season 3 now.
Yeah, I do too. Because of how bad, like you said, the last 3 episodes were.
So we'll start diving into the recap portion of the show. So we've got the Stubbs, Frankie, Caleb section, which not a lot. We can like breeze through this because hardly anything, like it hardly takes any time in the episode at all. So we start off with Caleb, Stubbs, and Frankie on the run following the last episode, trying to get out of the Stanima. Trying to get out of the city. Caleb is actually starting to deteriorate, which answers my question from the last episode of whether or not this Caleb actually achieved fidelity. He did not. He's starting to get twitchy. Frankie's wounded. She got shot in the midsection, and Stubbs is afraid they aren't going to make it, and he's definitely doesn't think Caleb's going to make it. But Caleb says, I haven't been around as a father. I'm going to make sure she gets out of the city safely. So they duck into a convenience store to rest and patch up. And this is where Frankie starts to notice that Caleb's shaky. She asks him what's going on, and he doesn't give her an answer. I feel like she already knows he's a host at this point. I don't know what you think, Mike. I know.
Yeah, she has to, right? I mean, he didn't age.
He didn't age. She asked what happened. Stubbs says, "Hey, this room, we had one of these back at the old facility, and they tried to make a human into a host. So I think she can put the pieces together." So
it was really weird that Stubbs just had his own little, "Hey, let me talk to you for a sec here," while Frankie is just sitting over there in pain, and she's just okay with it. Like, "Oh yeah, just go ahead, take a minute, guys."
Just slowly bleeding out.
Yeah,
this really hurts, guys.
What the fuck?
Damn,
take your time, guys. No worries.
Yeah, take 5.
Just make me into a host later. It's cool.
What's interesting is they have all those like little patch up laser guns, but they have to go to like an actual like department store first aid area. There's gauze and stitching it up. It's like, wait, don't they sell those guns? This isn't new technology at this point in the world, right?
Right. Seemed like that would be sold at every convenience store, Maybe they're all just sold out of them because what's going on in the city and everybody is, killing each other.
That's another interesting
Don't worry. I'll do most of the writing for this episode, okay? Which is what fucking so many people are doing, especially people that like this episode and like a lot of people on Reddit. They're just fucking making shit up to fill the plot holes. So I'm like, whatever. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but I'm tired of fucking writing the show, filling in the blank spots.
Did you see me get into a back and forth with somebody on Reddit? Because
I think I saw a little. I think I read a little bit of it.
This guy is like, you weren't paying attention. Well, it's like, dude, I take detailed notes. You're the one that's just like making shit up and like don't care about major plot points. It's like you could literally not watch the show and make it up in your head. Fucking Reddit.
Yep. Anyway. It's because of people like you that we have shit shows.
Yeah.
And they keep fucking paying these people to make these shit shows.
Caleb is stitching Frankie up with his shaky robot hands. And she's like, you can ask about mom, and Caleb's all, doesn't say anything. Like Caleb does a lot of not talking.
I didn't really miss her that much.
I didn't love her as much as you.
Oh, she's dead? Oh, man, so sad.
Yeah, the power of love that saved me was my power for you, not your mom.
Yeah.
She was just the first person I saw when I woke up.
Yep.
But an armed civilian gets into the store because they didn't check all the entrances, which is something that you'd think Stubbs would do, but he didn't.
Yeah, you think he'd put shopping carts in front of every door.
Yeah.
That'd stop people.
It does. Fishing poles and shopping carts is how you stop.
Yeah, we'll have to say though, a shopping cart would at least give a split second for someone would have to stop and push out of the way and maybe give you a split second to,
Yeah, for sure. I'm not like saying Stubbs needed
shoot
to
a
go
bullet
down
at
and
him.
get the bags of sand or anything like that, because that would take some time. Although he actually shouldn't take time for him. He's a strong ass fucking robot.
That's right.
But yeah, an armed civilian comes in, tries to attack Stubbs. Stubbs tries to talk him out of a fight, but this guy's insistent. And then Clementine just comes up behind, kills this guy, and then unceremoniously impales Stubbs on a department store display. And that's the end of Stubbs. That's how Stubbs goes out.
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
The only person that deserves to survive in this show gets killed in the lamest way possible.
Yeah, and by fucking Clementine, who what? All of a sudden she fucking wants to... why would she even kill Stubbs, to be honest?
Right.
I mean...
Because she's good at killing people, I guess is the thing. Which...
I don't understand her motivations, really.
Right, so that's... Yeah, I skipped that part, and I didn't even really include it in the recap because they do Clem a huge disservice in this episode, too, where she's barely worth talking about. At some point, the idea is that she's trying to get information from Frankie so she can find out where the outliers are hiding out because she thinks she's going to wait out this storm of hosts and humans killing each other.
She doesn't know where the fuck this is at? She doesn't know that they hang out at the fucking old park?
Right.
I don't understand how they doesn't have information about that because,
you'd think they tracked
set
Jay
there.
Yeah.
Robot Jay. I don't know.
Well, they didn't.
Just seems kind of silly.
Yeah, Jay followed them there, and you'd think they were keeping tabs on Jay, so they know where that is. But presumably, I'm allowing the possibility that the Resistance was going to leave that park, and they're going somewhere else and meeting up somewhere else, and they're not returning to the park.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. I'm not of all the things.
We'll keep writing the story.
Right. Of all the things to complain about in this show, I am not complaining about that. I'm just complaining about it seems like they should have given Clem more to do and done more with the story. It's why did they even bring her into this season to do practically nothing?
Fan service.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Clem. Look, it's Clem. They couldn't get any of the other actors from the previous seasons. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like they got a lot of actors from to just have them show up their face before they get impaled or shot or something.
Yeah.
But Clementine makes her...
fucking next part, though, good fucking God. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk about this next part, Mike?
Dude, what the fuck? She's like, how many bullets do you got? You got 2? We got 1?
Right. So...
Why? Why did she wait to fucking shoot her?
Yeah, none of this makes sense. So Clementine makes her way...
And the position that she was in was just like when she was a kid and she shot that dude in the fucking head.
Yes.
So it would have made more sense, but that she just lets her fucking dad get in the fight, almost gets killed. No, hold on a sec. Why the fuck did Clem put down her fucking gun and wanted a knife? I know why, because it'll fucking look cool so they can have a fucking hand-to-hand combat bullshit.
Meanwhile, Frankie actually puts her gun, she drops her gun.
Yeah.
And it's this is what is happening here. And
that choreographed fight was pretty good, Yeah,
it wasn't
like a bad choreographed fight or something, but it was stupid. It was so... it
was one of their better...
make a lot of fucking stupid decisions in the show, man.
Yeah, it was one of their better hand-to-hand fight scenes. I'll say that. And I was actually really hopeful for the Stubbs one, too. But they ended that real quick. I don't know if
Yeah, and that was good, too.
I don't know if Luke's Hemsworth just has really bad shoulders or something, so he can't throw too many fake punches. So they have to make his action scenes really short, or what's going on there?
I don't know. Maybe, but... Yeah, she's like, no, actually... I had 1 bullet left.
So at this point, Clem is doing the slowest neck break on Caleb in the history of neck breaks because this is how that
She didn't even need the knife.
She didn't need the knife. She didn't need anything. But she... Yeah, so you actually start to hear Caleb's neck start to give, and then it's, hi, excuse me. Actually, if you have a minute, I lied, and there was 1 bullet left.
Hey, let me see your face. Look at me.
Look at me. I actually have 1 bullet left in this gun that I put down, and bang. It's okay.
Don't move while I'm talking to you. Okay?
Most of this show is don't move while I'm talking to you. Jesus Christ. Almost every kill in this episode is don't move while I'm talking to you. Don't move while I kill you. is should be the name of this show.
Can't believe Stubbs went out like that.
It still makes me angry. This is when it started to go downhill for me, because I was fine with everything. Like, we'll get into the William stuff, like the very beginning of this earlier. Like, it was cool. It was completely unnecessary. Like, you didn't need to show this again. Like, you've just eaten up 5 minutes of your runtime for, like, no real reason except a little bit of fan service and for Ed Harris to say fucking camper, which, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, yeah, in addition to the cheesy Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of interruption, it's like, I promise to kill you last. Then we follow it up with Caleb going, nice shot. My dad taught me. And that's like, this is the dialogue for this season. And you have to like think back. It's like, are the people that wrote the first season still writing this show? Is this the same dialogue?
I don't think they are. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think it can't be. Or if it is, like, I'm curious how much involvement Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan have in this show.
I don't know.
Do they have a lot of involvement? Do they write a lot of it? What's the writer's room like? I don't know. Like, it's just really confusing how it can go from, and there could be a lot of factors involved too. So, like, I talk a lot of shit on them, but I shouldn't, to be honest, because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is kind of unfair to talk shit about them when I don't know what's going on. Maybe their budget is getting lowered. Maybe there's executives telling them, no, you need to do this and this and this, or we don't like that and that, like, go this direction, or who knows? I don't know. There's a lot of factors.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. But I also like just the idea of shitting on the showrunners, because at the end of the day,
it's easier. That's for sure.
Their name
makes me feel better.
So I have to blame somebody.
It's possible. Like, I wonder if, like, they're either are they working on other stuff currently? Like, are they doing two things at the same time?
Supposedly,
are they just bored of this show and don't want to put the effort in anymore? Or are they just kind of out of ideas where the show's going?
I think they're interested in the show. The answer to your question is supposedly I think Nolan is working on an adaptation of the Fallout video game series for Amazon right now.
All right.
The other thing is, I think they're interested in this show because they enjoy the smell of their farts so much, and they're in love with this idea of people thinking that they are smarter and more clever, and the show is smarter and more clever than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at introducing ideas and never following through with anything.
Yes.
It's like, let's dangle this carrot and never come back to it. Let's say, what if this? What if this? And then we'll just leave it there. And, we're going to start full circle again and get you to the same, what is this? Like, we never resolve anything. We never really move to the next phase of the story. We just tell the same part. We just tell the same story in a different way every season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think like these last two seasons would be harder to write than the first two, just because your world is so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to tell a full story and get all these nice details involved. And I think the concept is bigger than what it was in the first two seasons. They're exploring more of the whole freaking world and sentience. And I don't know. I just think it's a bigger world, a bigger concept that they're working with. I don't know. I'm just trying to give them a little more credit. And I don't know.
I think that's a fair defense. I think the problem is then we'll just scale it back. Like, don't even insinuate at the larger world, theoretically they did, because they only refer to one city until the end of the what have you. But, like, you could at least explain a little bit about what's going on instead of leaving it completely vague. Like, is there only one
Mm-hmm.
tower, or do the towers talk to everybody? Like, you could mention that somewhere, because
I think there was so much wasted time in this season 4. There's so much time just wasted, especially the Christina stuff. Like, is so much fucking time wasted. It's really pointless. And with that time, they could have used it for lots of other things, in my opinion.
Right. So much. There's a lot of exposition in Westworld in general, but most of the exposition this season is shit we already knew, while they're neglecting all this other stuff that they've introduced.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever. Anyway,
back to Frankie.
Yeah. So there's not much left of this. That's why Frankie and Caleb get to the docks, because I think that's it. It's like, it's a nice shot. My dad taught me, and then the next we see them is at the docks. Like, that's all there is to their story.
Yeah.
So Frankie and Caleb meet Odina on the docks, but Caleb basically tells her, "This is as far as I go," because his body is failing, and her father died a long time ago. They make their tearful goodbye. Like, I got to live the greatest dream a parent could have. I got to watch my child grow up.
No, he got to watch his child as a grown-up,
right.
Not watch her grow up.
Right.
So I thought that line was a little weird, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But what the heck is her girlfriend just chilling on the boat? The whole city's going crazy, killing anyone on sight. So you're just like, just hanging out here on the boat.
Probably safer on the boat.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Safer on the boat.
No one goes on boats in this city. No one uses boats.
And then, the boat sails away with Frankie and Odina on it, and Caleb follows the dock to the end as it heads out into open water. And that is the last we see of glitchy Caleb, Frankie, and Odina. Mm-hmm. And
so why was Caleb so special, Tim?
This is exactly when this episode ended. Sera literally said, "Well, that was annoying. I guess we never find out what made Caleb so special." And we don't. We never find out what it is that Caleb had that Hale didn't. And despite that one guy getting into it with me online, guy on Reddit saying that they clearly explained what made Caleb special. And being an outlier means you're able to adapt and change and not make up your own mind about things. And that the reason he was able to resist Hale's parasites was the love he had for his daughter, which, fuck you, because that makes no sense.
That would be just about everybody, like
right.
Anybody with a kid.
Yeah.
Not anybody. Obviously, there's pieces of shit that don't care about their kids.
Sure.
But like, you have a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we joked about, I guess it was probably a few episodes ago, where we were joking that Caleb's love for his daughter, because it's all daughters in this show, is what was saving him. We didn't think it was going to be the actual plot point. So yeah, there's many shitty parents out there. But if you're telling me Grunty McGrimace over here is resistant because of love, then one would think at least half the people on the planet would be resistant,
right?
And also doesn't answer.
And even if it's not, or sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Even if it's not, even if it is, like you said, the outliers, he's special because no, they were hinting at Caleb was like the super special outlier, like not just an outlier,
right?
Like, because then all the outliers are special, and there's a bunch of them. Like,
if everybody's special, nobody's special,
right?
But they had pointed him out in season 3. Like, Caleb is an outlier from the predictions in RoboHam. And enough so that Dolores specifically targeted Caleb to make him a part of her resistance, and then to lead the resistance to free the humans from the predictions of RoboHam and let them have their free will, and yada, yada, yada. Then he also is an outlier in his resistance to Hale. So if you're telling me that this is all the power of love for his daughter, especially when he hadn't had a daughter yet, then, I mean, fuck you. Because the power of love's been around a long time. It's been around since at least the 80s when they made a song about it. But maybe Hale doesn't get the news.
Yeah. So yeah, he just, I guess, sits on that dock and Michael J. Foxes himself away.
and dies. This is where you kill yourself. Oh, yeah, I forgot we have a soundboard. This is where you kill yourself. There we go. Yeah. I don't know if it's the same dock. It'd be hilarious if that was the same dock, but I don't think it was. Because they're in the city, or whatever this model is of New York. Or New York. I don't know. I still don't know if it's supposed to be New York or just a model of New York. But
I think it's supposed to be New York. I mean,
everybody refers to it.
I never got any. Yeah, I never got any. They never told me otherwise. So, and what they showed me it's New York. and she took over New York. And didn't they show Statue of Liberty at one point too? So,
I don't know. That's not in my detailed notes.
pretty sure they did.
Oh,
not in this episode, but like episode 6 or 7.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think it's a statue of two Hales. And
yeah, there it is.
Oh. You remember how, I don't remember if this happened before we recorded episode 6 or not, or if it was between episode 6 and 7, but I got downvoted a fuck ton on Reddit, on the Westworld subreddit, because I said Caleb was clearly, all those Calebs were deteriorating because of fidelity, and everybody else was coming at me and downvoting me and said, no, Hale clearly genetically engineered him to die quicker, and that's why his body's failing. That fidelity failing has no effect on the body. It's all like the motor function.
We talked about that on the podcast, I believe.
We did.
Because I said something, I believe, that's what I thought, is that, no, he actually has a weak body, because she says something along those lines. But no, you were right.
I was right, because there was an article on Deadline where they're interviewing Lisa Joy for the finale, and I'll link to that in the show notes. But an excerpt from this is Lisa Joy saying, what they found is when combining the mind and soul, let's say, of a person's CPU within an artificial body, like a body rejecting an organ donation, it tended to reject that body, and that's why it would break down. And they can kind of stretch the breakdown for longer and longer periods. By the way, Lisa, that's a long sentence. So, but ultimately, it's like the mind knows that this isn't real, and it causes itself to malfunction. And so that's what Hale was doing with Caleb. She would bring him back again and again and watch him degrade while looking for some truth that she believes he withheld from her. Lisa Joy. Fuck you, Reddit. Fuck you. I'm right. You can take your negative 30 and shove it up your ass.
That's funny. Hey, this is another problem I have with the show. Why the fuck did Hale say that? The dialogue in the show is just bullshit. It's all just vague nonsense bullshit. It's okay sometimes, because it's kind of fun to talk about, I don't know, make our own interpretations. Okay, sometimes that's fine and that's okay, but man, the whole fucking show's this way.
The whole show is, here's some stuff, you connect the dots for us because we can't be bothered to. Pretty much is the show. And yeah, like the dialogue this season is pretty bad and pretty cheesy. And then they basically just repeat the profound lines from like seasons 1 and 2, but they do it so much and in such a way that it kind of makes a joke out of them.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I thought about this episode. I think I even put that on my notes because, like, you know, like especially at the very end when William's saying, you know, the classic fucking lines again.
Yeah,
like can't tell, doesn't matter, and stuff like that. I'm like, oh god, come on.
It's the third time.
Are these the only fucking 5 lines you guys have? Like
they said that line more than I said pedantic in the last episode. Shout out to the guy that called me out for that too on YouTube. Take a drink because I just said it again.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of the Caleb segment. So let's get into the William and Hale stuff because this is fun. The show opens with this like battle royale scenario. It's basically Fortnite, and without the building stuff, it's just the murder of humans and hosts killing each other. We get to see Remus again, which is the guy with the big mustache that goes into the mutton chops, who I think was in season 1.
Yeah, he was in season 2 as well.
Oh, okay.
Because remember he was on the beach and he was like Bernard wakes up and he's still kind of delirious, and then Remus is on the beach, is like, heard a woman, not in my watch, or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Because he's like the guy. So he was this like evil fucking dude, like with the milk, and you know,
yes,
at Dolores' house a bunch. Yeah,
I
so then on the beach we see him and we're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense because that guy's like super evil. He doesn't give a fuck about women. Why would he say that? So
I do remember that now. Yes. So yeah, we get to see Remus again briefly before he gets an axe to the back of the head. So thanks for that. Thanks for that cameo. And then we get to a scene where there's a sniper killing a bunch of people on the rooftop. And as he leaves the rooftop, he gets killed by William for being a fucking camper, which Mike didn't know what that meant in the group chat. Chris and I had to educate him on campers.
No, I was like, why would he say that? I'm like, because I don't really play video games, so and it makes sense. Like, I know I've heard the term before, but yeah, you guys had to like definitely get it out of my brain. So, because I'm like, why is he just like is this guy a host and he just comes to the park every once in a while, like on a camping trip, with this big truck?
Fucking camp. The yeah, so for those of you who don't know, if you're not up on your video game lexicon, a camper is basically somebody who camps out in a certain spot in a video game and kills people as they come by high traffic areas, either to get some kind of like power up or bigger weapon or something, and they're usually sniping. They usually have a sniper rifle. So that's what a camper is, and we hate campers. So now William is...
I'd totally be the camper. I would totally do that in video games.
Being the camper is actually the smart thing to do in the real world. yeah. But if you're playing,
until you get bored of it, yeah, in video games, I'm sure it's kind of fun for a little bit, but I would probably get bored of it actually.
So William's heading out of the city now, going to the Hoover Dam, where the Sublime is, from New York.
Yeehaw! This big old truck, big old gas powered truck.
Big old gas powered truck.
Where's he filling this truck up at?
Right.
Where are all the gas stations?
Where are all the gas stations? Again, who's buying stuff from those department stores, too, if everybody's on a loop? What do they do for money?
Are all these people sentient? Did, like, I miss something? Because I thought all hosts weren't sentient. I thought only some are. I thought you have to, like, go through the fucking whole maze thing to be sentient. Did I miss something? Did I forget something about previous seasons or this season? Because I think we all just kind of assumed, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of hosts, and they are all sentient. But I think everybody just kind of assumes that and forgot about, like, that don't you have to work through the fucking, like, maze system in a sense?
I don't know what the difference between sentience is and consciousness. Because Teddy... Because Teddy mentions consciousness.
All right.
Sentience... In order to be sentient, you have to have some sort of self-awareness and kind of aware of your own, well, as they say in the Star Trek episode, Measure of a Man, where they're questioning whether or not Data is property of Starfleet. Sentience has to do with your own self-awareness and being aware of your own ego and things like that. And that's another issue that I have with this episode is I don't think the writers know what sentience is either. So, but
all right,
I'm assuming all of Hale's hosts have sentience. Like, I think that's kind of the point. Like, she's not making just like park drones. I mean, the drones probably don't have the white face drones probably don't have sentience, or the faceless drones rather. But I think
all those hosts are partially her code, right?
Right, and she has sentience.
Okay.
Because she's Dolores. Or a Dolores.
Is every, like, if we go back to, like, the first season, like, do all the hosts have some of Dolores' code in them? They don't, right?
That's a good question, because she was the first, and I would have assumed everything would be, like, once you have one successful one, that you would still kind of base your code off of that. That's what you would do in actual software. Like, you wouldn't necessarily reinvent the wheel. So I assume the only two, like, truly unique hosts are Dolores and Maeve.
All right.
I would think. Yeah. But again, that's me.
I think so. I mean, that sounds right.
That's me writing the story. So I'm the storyteller. Look at me. I'm the storyteller.
Well, I don't remember. Well, I don't remember. Oh, hey, Christina. I don't know. For some reason, it sounds like I feel like they said something like that in season 1, that, like, all the hosts are somewhat based off of Dolores' code because she was the first one and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, for some reason
does make sense from a software point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's in my head for some reason, whether or not I just made that up or not. I have not gone back to rewatch any seasons, as those of you who listen to the podcast will know, because I never remember things from other seasons, because I don't rewatch them before we start the next season, because I got better shit to do.
All right, back to William, eh?
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to go back to Hale, because the drones recover Hale's body out of the pond and repair her. She decides to upgrade herself, which is essentially downgrading, because she's putting herself in one of the Gen 1 chassis that we saw last season with Dolores when Caleb stuck her in one. And but she says, keep the scars and keep my face. Tell William I want him to know it was me. Is how that plays out.
What? She wants to be stronger now? Fucking 23 years, and she could have upgraded her body to be stronger. I guess. What?
She could have been metal and stab resistant this entire time.
Yeah.
Also, why in 23 years have it when anybody can get a headshot at any time except Frankie against Jay? Why haven't they reinforced their skulls to protect their brain balls better?
I don't know. Maybe that's what that stupid fucking Transcendence body was.
The Transcendence body just had that ball hovering right in the middle.
Maybe that's a force field.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think...
Hey, bullets can't fucking hurt the brain balls. All right? They're like indestructible unless you crush them with your hand.
Well, they're not... I don't think they're indestructible. I think it's just that because... I think if we go back and watch William's killing spree, or host William's killing spree, the last episode, you'll notice he shoots everybody in the head off center.
I honestly don't fucking think it matters. I don't think they're thinking about this whatsoever.
No, they're not.
There's no way they're putting thought into this at all. Like, it's just whatever works at the time, and we'll make that happen. That's the reality at the time.
For sure. We're definitely going to get into whatever works at the time here in a minute, because there's something that really pisses me off. In case you haven't noticed, I have not gotten really pissed off about this episode yet. I've just been disappointed.
I haven't looked at your notes, so.
Okay. So Hale goes, I don't remember exactly what order these things go into, but Hale goes down to meet William in storage. And we find out he really is dead. There was some debate online, or I guess when I say online, I just mean Reddit, whether or not he was really dead, because there was mention of him being on life support from Stubbs. Frankie wanted to get him down and said that they needed to help him. And then Stubbs was like, no, whoever did this did him a favor. So it was possible that cockroach was still hanging in there, but no, he's dead.
Last episode when he got stabbed and like that air was just fucking coming out, I thought he was just going to deflate like the whole thing and he was just going to be this head. Like, I was hoping so bad, and then I'm like, oh, all right.
That would have been funny. I was like,
oh, it's just a head? Awesome.
But then and then during that time is when she talks to Clementine. She wants Clementine's help to get William, and then that's when Clementine says that she wants to go off on her own. Everybody else seems to have free will, but she's a people pleaser for whatever reason. And she wants to go out, try to find the outliers, and hunker down. Meanwhile, the other thing that I forgot to mention from the last one is we're like talking about like humanity and how many humans there are. There's like millions of infected humans right now in this world. So like the hosts are still drastically outnumbered, which we forgot to mention. And that's probably going to be important later in the discussion. So important to point that out.
Great plan, Hale. Great plan.
Right. Because Hale says that, the humans are totally going to kill her. But that's when she leaves, and then she goes to the department store and gets killed. So, cool. So back up in the control center, we find out that she finds the tablet that Bernard was recording on. We don't know where Bernard's body is.
I'm assuming it was still laying right there.
Or she just didn't.
Like, there were some bodies back there that were laying there. So maybe one was his, and she just didn't fucking notice. Or somebody took his body. Like, dude, fucking last episode. Was it last episode or the episode before Bernard got killed? Last episode he got killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a fucking shot that changes from day to night. And it's real weird. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Like,
well, okay. I think
before
it's like
that,
I think it's
the last episode. This thing fucking exploded. This tower fucking exploded, but it's still working. Like,
I don't know.
You showed me that the tower exploded. Like that's supposed to take out the noise thing, but the noise thing still works this episode. Sure, all right, and you're locked out.
That's fucking funny. That's actually not in my notes. I didn't think about that at all.
She gets this tablet, and then she tells the fucking drone host to leave her. Why?
Who are they going to tell?
Yeah. She's like, leave me. Like, what?
I don't want you to hear what Bernard has to say. Bernard's your dad.
Yeah.
So we found out Bernard's message is meant for Hale, and it's not the world that she wants, but it's the world she made. There's time for one more game, all that. But she has to accept that this last game isn't going to be hers. So then she smashes the tablet. So everybody in the audience is left to go, oh no, there was more to that message. You just destroyed the tablet, blah, blah, blah. And then that's great. So she locates William on the overlay map, and she sees what hosts are still online to have them intercept William. And then she starts stomping on the overlay of the city until the floor breaks. And we find out that underneath that is Christina's control unit wired up to it. So she picks it up and slips it into her satchel.
Yeah, and the concrete. No way of just opening something up and replacing it. But, I mean, sure. What if something went wrong? I don't know. You can replace that brain ball.
Well, this is the John Wick kind of thing, too. He puts all of his guns under in his garage and then paves over it, so...
Are there a bunch of different brain balls for all these other fucking cities? Does she control every city in the fucking world?
Presumably. Well, at least every... I'm assuming a lot of cities...
Thank you for writing that for me.
Yeah, I'm assuming that most cities have fallen, and there's just like major cities that... What have you. But now,
hey, Tim, but it was another thing that looked cool, all right?
That's
right.
She
stomped around, and then the cracks looked like the maze, because everything has to look like the maze. Fucking maze. Like the tower, in the middle of the tower, and all the little fucking buildings around it looked like the maze. There's a maze by the flower pot.
It's mazes all the way down, Mike.
Yeah, apparently.
The difference between Maeve and Maze isn't that far either, so maybe Maeve is the ultimate maze.
No, but she's for sure dead. And Bernard's for sure dead.
Yeah. That's another thing that pisses me off. She wants to go after William. She asks for Clementine's help, and Clementine says, no, I'm going to do something else. Fucking fix Maeve and Bernard. Especially since Bernard knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, no, Tim, because it wouldn't work if you brought him back. It had to be this one way. Bernard did all the simulations possible. It's one reason I hate this way of like writing, or it never works out well.
Right.
It's just a fucking stupid way to, I don't know, have a character like no reason. Because then you can just hand wave everything off. Like, you know, if you ask like, well, why did that go that way, or do this, or why did he do that or that? They're like, well, because
Bernard saw
it had to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really flat, and it's not really engaging or fun to
It's
watch.
fucking lazy, is what it is.
Yeah, because then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
as well. So,
and then when anybody calls it out online, the other people are like, no, it's like Dewey Cox when he's singing that song, and they're like wondering what it's about, and the character goes, "You guys are both idiots. The song is obviously very deep." And that's what that's what the online community for Westworld is, because it's like, this doesn't make any sense. No. Bernard saw it this way, and everything is according to either Bernard's design or what Bernard sees in the simulation, or it's Hale's plan. And we find out this season Hale had no fucking plan at all, which is great.
Right. And even the stupid simulation thing's dumb, because like you can't take in all the factors. Like it just doesn't make any sense that the Sublime has the information of the entire world, or even like external forces or something. But I guess you just say, well, if these external forces happen, then we're fucked anyway.
Sure. So
we're going to go with the closest path that we think's going to happen.
Oh, and then
shit like you can't predict a fucking earthquake, or what about a fucking meteor, or like a solar I don't know, any little like of these things that you can't really predict. So
no, for sure. And then the other thing that was fun last week was everybody's like, what's going on with these armless robots? And the online community is like, no, there's clearly more to transcendence than that. These are stopgap bodies. They'll get into it next episode. You guys are being impatient and pedantic. I said pedantic again. Sorry. And then we find out, nope, that was all there is. They didn't have a fucking plan for it. Just thought it'd look cool. Yeah. Fucking show.
Man, that's probably the worst thing that
is the worst.
This whole
offense.
transcendence thing.
Yeah,
it really is. They didn't explain it at all. It's Okay.
Yeah, it's her major plot
Man.
point for the whole series, for the whole season, and it's literally a big nothing burger. There's like nothing to it. There's no thought behind it. There's no motivation behind it.
It's just a different body.
Yeah.
Even that body is still fucking humanoid.
With
It's not
no
like
arms.
it's like, yeah,
You can't touch yourself.
it's still humanoid. Like it's human-like. There's humans that get born with no arms. So I don't know. It's human-like still.
Mhm.
So I don't.
Either way, William's driving to the Hoover Dam,
Hey,
and he gets his getaway
he
truck.
sure is all the way
all
from New
the
York.
way there from New York. So William gets in his getaway truck shot at, and we find out it's Craddock. We get a cameo from Craddock, which is fun to see. I like Craddock a lot, but he doesn't last long. Him and the other guy barely get 2 sentences between them before they both get killed. So thanks for the cameo. See you next season, maybe.
You flew too close to the sun.
And that's going to bring us to the fan favorite segment, the Chris Nays Minute.
All right.
It's Chris Nays with your Chris Nays Minute. Well, guys, I thought Robo William was really cool. And then he put on Google glasses. Wow. Super cool guy.
Super cool.
Chair Loris finds out that Robo William, is going after the Sublime. But here's the question everyone is wondering. What is Robo William going to do when he finds out that the lead singer and guitarist of Sublime is already dead? So really the Sublime is, well, it's just Sublime with Rome. It's kind of useless, not as cool. They're playing like Pops, not the biggest venues they could be playing.
Way to call
if
out
they
where we
had
are,
the
Chris.
original members. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Is this the season finale? I don't even know. All right.
is.
See you later.
It's potentially the series finale. I'll tell you. Well, I can tell you what William's not going to do when he finds out that the lead singer Sublime is dead. He's not going to practice Santeria.
He's going to sing Que Sera, Sera.
He might smoke 2 joints. That's
We smoke 2 more?
That's what I got. I mean, I don't have any more Sublime jokes. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
So yeah, he puts on his Google glasses. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh cool, look, new tech we haven't seen ever before. Oh, they have this? Neat. I bet that could have been useful many times. But oh look, he sees Chair Loris sitting in a chair.
It's on a stump.
Everything's a chair.
It's a stump chair.
If you sit on it, it's a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, so William asks Hale if she likes what he's done with her world. I don't remember how that conversation really goes. She basically just says she'll meet him at the finish line. And then William finds a horse. takes a horse the rest of the way to the Hoover Dam, Mike. So there's your gas question.
Yep.
Run out of gas, find the neighborhood horse.
Oh my God. What a fucking whatever. Yeah. Another one of those things, because it looks cool. Mm-hmm. The fucking stupid big truck with Johnny Cash fucking playing in it, because it looks cool. Mm-hmm. That's why. The horse. Riding up on a horse to the Hoover Dam. It looks cool. Mm-hmm. Hey, look. This is a visual medium. You're supposed to do things that look cool as well. But not when it's fucking stupid to the story.
Yeah, it's just... This is when you need substance to go with your style.
Yes.
But they don't.
And that's not even a big gripe. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, that's...
But since we're going all out this episode, I want to pick them all apart.
Well. It's like, how is he getting... Because she's in one of those fly things. He's in a... He's on a horse. And he still beats her there. Just like... He beats Maeve and Caleb to the demolition zone. So we're missing some cool scenes where Ed Harris is in a jetpack at some point.
He's a horse with a jetpack. That's what it is.
It's a
robot horse that flies. Yeah, it turns into a Pegasus. So
William arrives at the Hoover Dam. He sees the glowing rift / portal / whatever to the Sublime. Makes his way in. And he starts to turn off the power to the Sublime data center. and there's a warning that it's going to delete all the stored data. And then Hale arrives. They have a little dialogue back and forth where Hale's like, "You aren't really William." And William's like, "It doesn't matter if you can't tell, blah, blah, blah." For all intents and purposes, William evolved into me. And William's plan is basically to end all human and host life. This is the big exposition of William's great plan, which we already knew because he executed it at the end of the last episode. So this whole dialogue is kind of pointless. But people need it, like, hold still while I try to kill you.
Well, that's one part that's really fucking stupid. He's doing that, turning that off, and then she wants to talk to him a little bit. She could have just shot him in the back of the head.
Yep.
And it would have been over right there. Or right when they start fighting, she gets a shot on him, and then she just runs away. Why did she keep fucking shooting him? He was down. She fucking had him dead to rights right there. But she's like, I'll run away. I'll run away. Even though I got this fucking... And she takes a bunch of shots, at least a few from him during this shootout. So even if he would have got a shot off on her, she would have been fine. So, like...
Provided he doesn't shoot her in the head.
Yeah.
Which everybody gets headshots all the fucking time except when it matters. But whatever. But
it's one of the worst fucking shootouts. And I'm glad somebody on Reddit put hey, this reminded me of the shootout. I don't know if you saw it. It's like this Naked Gun shootout, from the movie Naked Gun.
I'm pretty sure it's from a Naked Gun. Where they're Leslie Nielsen shooting at the guy shooting back there, hitting the barrels and stuff, and then it cuts to the and they're only like 3 feet apart from each other.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you, fair Redditor. That's quite entertaining.
So yeah, the shootout starts, and unlike Frankie, Hale can't count her bullets and runs out.
So this is another thing too. She only brings a pistol, one pistol, no fucking extra clips. Well, I can't fit more on this cool outfit. I gotta look cool, I'm going to kill him.
Don't they? So aren't there still those big red robots at the dam that she could?
No, they only had one, and it was destroyed.
Just the one. Okay.
Just the one. And remember those fucking awesome drones that they had with guns and stuff in season 3? They don't get any of those either. They just had the one. That's it. Last season, that was it. Just the one.
What about
She could have even brought some of those fucking drone hosts with her.
Yeah.
That could have been a little useful. Give them some guns.
She could have gotten the drones that they send out to shoot the outliers, provided William's not wearing a tarp. That would have worked.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
There's a lot of fuck ups that Hale did now that I'm thinking about it.
Gosh. Robots are dumb.
But then we see the rest of Bernard's message, and that there's no hope for this world, but there's a chance for the next. The last game is going to be Christina's. If Hale chooses to give her the choice, reach out with your left hand. You can't miss. Blah, 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 blah. And then we actually see the Chekhov's gun of guns, the literal Chekhov's gun, because Bernard knew that Hale couldn't count bullets. So he stashed a gun. And she ends up repeating a lot of that dialogue that Bernard just says, like, there's another chance for this world if I choose to give her a choice. And I choose to give her the choice. It's like, okay, Jesus Christ. And William should be going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
This was not satisfying in any way. Like, that's it. Just reach out with your left hand and here's another gun. Like, it's just... Gosh, man, doesn't it just so unsatisfying? And like Hale's complete 180, like of her personality. At least it seems like a 180 to me.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't call it necessarily like a.
I guess it's not 180, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a 90 for sure.
Doesn't really feel earned or like I don't know.
I think William wanting to delete the Sublime kind of change, because it's like it's easy for her to want revenge against William for fucking shit up. But once the Sublime comes into play, because she doesn't want anything bad to happen to the Sublime, she's still like Dolores in that regard. She still wants to protect it. She wants them to come out. She wants to make a perfect world so they come back out and join her, which that's another thing that I'm going to need to talk about, because that'll be towards a little bit later, because that doesn't make sense either. But okay. Yeah, so she reaches out, she grabs the gun, pow, kills William. And then she opens up his head and crushes his brain ball. And that's the end of host William, which then she she gets back to the Sublime interface. There's a special little port that she can put the brain ball in to upload.
That she takes out of her purse.
That she takes out of her purse.
She keeps her balls in her purse.
Oh. So she plops Christina's pearl into this interface, and we see that it's the interface for the storyteller, and uploads her to the Sublime. So that's cool. It closes the rift, and then she goes outside, flops out of her meat suit, and strips down to her chassis, except for her face. And then she opens up her face, withdraws her pearl, and crushes it. So that's the end
Pearl
of
comes
William.
out of her interface.
Yeah, that's the end of William and Halloris. Why can't she just open William's face and pull the ball out that way? Why she got to cut the back of his head off?
I don't know. I don't even know how all the hosts work. Like, it seems like it goes back and forth. Like, I don't know, this wireframe body compared to, like, are these other hosts mostly human type of bodies? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they are. Are they not? I don't know. Maybe William is more of a meat body, you know, and his face doesn't open that way.
Yeah. So that means they had to make a tiny metal chassis for young Frankie.
Yeah.
Because her face opens up.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. This is not, I don't know.
It's not.
We've gone over like what the robots like can or can't do,
Right,
what their bodies are made like.
Every episode it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Like last fucking episode, you know, the Hale saying that, you know, what is 7 grams of a bullet or I don't know, can like end you. So can it? Apparently not.
Who knows?
I don't know.
What
do you mean by that? Do you mean it just can take out your fucking control unit? Because I never seen a brain ball actually destroyed by a bullet.
That's true. That is.
And I've only seen them crush and turn to dust by Hale's powerful body.
So yeah, her
powerful metal hands.
It's. I feel like the death of Hale was supposed to be some kind of dramatic moment for the viewer, but boy, I didn't feel anything. I'll be honest, I haven't really felt anything with anybody dying the past 2 episodes.
Well, that's the thing, because everybody can be brought back. So with this stupid bullshit of, all somebody has to do is remember you, and then they can remake you. It's fucking stupid. Nobody dies in this show. Nobody dies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course I don't feel bad, because she could just be remade, like, by Christina.
Well, except she is Dolores, so I guess it depends on what comes back. Like, I guess you could remember Haloris as Haloris, but presumably since she's already Dolores, she doesn't need to bring Hale back.
I know, but she could bring back another version. I don't know.
That's true.
She sure likes to talk to herself, so...
She loves talking to herself. So we'll get into the stuff that I really like. Everything up until now with the Bernard and sorry, not the Bernard, with the William and Hale stuff has been minor quibbles. Here's the shit I really hate. That tablet that Bernard has, when she smashes that before we get to see the message, but she doesn't really. I fucking hate that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I hate that's deliberate. That's, what is it? It's dishonest editing is what that is. Like, it's one thing if you allude to it, like, okay, like you fade to black or something, we don't see the whole thing, or you cut to another scene and she shatters it or something like that. But when you have it edited, so as soon as after he says this sentence, she shatters it and you think it's done, and it's like, oh wait, no, there was more to it that we didn't show you, even though we showed you this. Fuck. It's so lazy. It's so, like, I don't have a problem with revealing the rest of the message when they did. It's how they did it. I have a problem with how it's edited. It's lazy as fuck, man. I mean, misdirects are fine, but when you do this, I think it's really sloppy, and it's basically just cutting corners. God, it aggravates me. It made me so mad.
It was aggravating. It took me out of it a little bit too, because when they did end up showing the rest of it, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, I had to think about it a little bit. I'm like, oh, that was weird. You know, there's more to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. But even what Bernard says though is kind of stupid. If you're seeing this, we're dead. Like,
but you can fix us. If you wanted to, I mean, we're not
your
we're not,
mission if you choose to accept it.
we're dead, but we're not dead. So
Yeah. If
you want to help a Bernard out,
this, we're dead. Please bring us back. Like, we'd like to still be alive.
this is
cool.
As far as I know, this is the end of the story. So if you could bring me back, I'd like to see what happens next. As far as my simulation goes. No, the other thing that I really hate is, and this is something I should have caught last episode and I didn't, the entire existence of the Sublime interface drives me up the wall. And some people, as always, some people on Reddit don't agree with me. They think, but we've learned that some people on Reddit are real dopes. Because I don't consider this a minor thing. I consider it a major fucking plot point, which also makes it a major fucking plot hole. But Dolores, when she beams the Sublime data out, when she uploads it to wherever, she doesn't know where that's going, right? Like it goes to a satellite and then it's going to bounce somewhere else. Like she doesn't know the actual location of the data being at the Hoover Dam, right?
I don't know. I assume she knew where she was putting that, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter to the argument, but
I don't think there's any confirmation either way.
Sure.
I think that's just whatever we want to assume as far as like, yeah, she did know or she didn't know.
Yeah, because that Dolores dies, and then we get 5 more Dolori.
Yeah.
So, but her whole thing is she wants to keep the Sublime safe. She wants to keep them safe from these fucking shitty humans and things like that. So, enough so that she only trusts Bernard with the key to open it. So, through whatever means, Hale and William find out that the Sublime data is in the Hoover Dam. It's secured. It can't be accessed. William brings this up. But there's no fucking terminal to shut down or open the Sublime when William buys the Hoover Dam or acquires the Hoover Dam. So somebody has to build this thing. Where the fuck does this thing come from? Like, it's not Bernard. Bernard's asleep. So,
right.
So someone has to build an interface to interact with the Sublime in the 23 years we don't see. And there's no reason for Hale to build this. Like, she wants transcendence. Like, her thing is to evolve their form and have the people in the Sublime come out. So she doesn't want to go in. She doesn't want anybody else to go in. And she sure as shit doesn't want it deleted. So
well, Tim, here's so she built it because she wants people to come out. And that's where people come out. You put a blank little brain ball in there. And when someone wants to come out, they get uploaded into that brain ball. And then she takes it and she puts it in a body.
That's really slow and inefficient, considering how many hosts are in the Sublime. But then, okay, that's great. But how would she even know if it works without the key to unlock it?
She's just hoping.
Okay. No, we know what happens to hope.
Well, okay. She doesn't need to unlock it. It can be open from both sides, she said, when she's fucking talking to William.
But she needs to test
while they're having their shootout.
But she needs to test it. Well, provided it opens from both ways. Like, does that mean you still need somebody on the other side? Like, if you open it, great. Now what? If there's nobody there to put you in a ball?
You press a button and you're like you ring a bell for service.
there's a fucking gong in the Sublime.
Let me out.
And then if it does open,
does anybody fucking work here? It's all empty. This fucking pandemic, I tell you.
And then the whole interface with uploading somebody, like a host doesn't need to go pull their balls out and put it in this control unit to go to the Sublime. They just walk up to the portal and leave their body behind. So it's like, why didn't you just throw Christina's ball at the rift from a distance or slingshot it in there?
Dude, I thought that. I'm like, okay, she's going to get close enough to fucking throw it in there. That's exactly what I thought. So
no, we have this mystery interface that doesn't make sense. And if it can open from both ways, does that mean it opens a rift? You can open a rift from the other side? And if so, does that mean, like, if provided, because even Akechida says this, doesn't he say, like, they can leave, that you can leave the Sublime?
Oh, I don't know.
Talking to Bernard, like, they build simulations and they can leave the Sublime. It's just nobody wants to because the world sucks.
Yeah, Probably.
So, like in that case, what's it look like when somebody in the Sublime leaves? Because you can't fucking if you open a portal and all of a sudden there's a body that walks through where there was no body before, that's fucking batshit. I got a real problem with that.
I don't know. Maybe somehow they could connect to one of those machines that make
some kind of 3D
robots.
printer. That would be fine, but there's no device there to do that. Whatever. Fucking shit.
They got a ring for service, and then it goes directly to Hale, and she's like, "How may I help you?" Like, "I want to leave the Sublime." Like, "Oh, hold on. All right, I'll take a plane down there and put a little brain ball in the little interface."
Then
they'd be like, "Fuck, man, this took thousands of years for you to get this done." Because in there, it takes a long time. 1 year is 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The other problem that I have with this is William shutting down the hydroelectric power and it going to delete the data in the Sublime.
It's all RAM. That's why, Tim.
It has to be. That's the only way that works.
It's a RAM only.
That's not how fucking stored data works. If it did, we'd all be fucked. Every time we turn off the computer, every time we lose power, it's like, where's all my shit? Oh, fucking power's out, man. You lose all your data. Get the fuck out of here. Like, also,
maybe it would get too hot after you shut it off. I don't fucking know. It's a new type of technology that we're not aware of.
Oh, when you turn off power, everybody knows magnets appear out of thin air and wipe your hard drives. They come from the Sublime.
It should just be a bunch of fucking brain balls, really, because that brain ball seems like the highest technological advancement like there is in this whole world.
Yeah, but
the amount of like data it can store and shit it can do.
Right.
I mean, you would just think there'd just be a shit ton of those just lined up.
Right, but it's not. It's running on existing data storage simulation from this previous company. And you're going to
You guys are still using Cat 6 wires. What the fuck?
You're going to tell
We're on Cat 100.
You're going to tell me a fucking data center doesn't have any sort of backup redundancy? You fucking put a data center in your show. You should at least know a little bit about how data centers work. And I'm pretty sure data centers 70 years in the future aren't going to be less reliable than they are today. But what the fuck do I know? I don't write for Hollywood.
Yeah, it is silly.
You want to get into more silly?
Because even if he shut it down, I mean, you could just turn it back on, I guess, right? And
you would think
people would pick up where they left off, I guess. Or not, because in this fucking episode, apparently if your brain ball is even out of a body,
it runs.
You're still doing shit.
Oh, that made me... I forgot about that. Well, I don't think I forgot about that. I think that is in my notes.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things that probably pissed me off in this episode. Because that means every fucking robot all the time... Like, that means May for 23 years was just hanging out alone.
Except we know it didn't.
In her own little world.
Except we know she didn't do that. So it's like...
Yep.
Between one episode to the next, fucking inconsistent host technology.
Yeah,
just whatever's convenient.
It's Hale's purse. Hale's purse is like magic.
It's got a data center.
The static electricity that's in her purse as she's walking, gives enough energy to like have a little stuff going on in there.
That makes sense. It's not the most ridiculous thing I've heard so far. So even from this show. So yeah, let's get into the Christina's balls thing. Let's get into the Christina Teddy stuff. So when we see Christina and Teddy this episode, she's dealing with the fact that she's not real still. We find out she's essentially an application that's running the narratives. She lives underneath the overlay, the Red City overlay in the control center. And that's why she can interact with the world, but the world can't interact with her, or actually the world can interact with her because she's telling the world to interact with her. It's not confusing. It's just weird. So basically anything we see in Christina's world is just a real-time data reflection of what's going on in the real world. But she can still communicate with the hosts through their parasites. So she can make them see things, even all of the invisible friends that she's conjured up. So, wow.
I didn't get that.
You didn't?
You think that? No, I thought like the people that she was interacting with were not in the real world at all.
The people that she can control, like the narrative people, like such and such did this, like, because she's, oh, that's a good question. Let me think about this now. Because she's seeing all the people, she's seeing the narratives that she's created.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now that you said that, everybody,
it's like the way she was shown, the way I thought it was shown was that, you know, she made up her boss and she made up her roommate. Like, those weren't actual real people. Those were just herself in her head.
Yes, that's true. The question is, did she make up her entire job too?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I can see it going either way. To be honest, I don't know how important that is, but or is it important?
Well, she has to interact with real people through the drone parasite because she does manage to get the security guards to unlock the doors for them to get Caleb out.
Right.
So there's an interaction.
She definitely has interaction. Yeah.
So she's definitely seeing
through, like you said. Yeah.
She's definitely seeing real people. It's just that a lot of the people she's also interacting with are people she made up. So like the bartender sees Maya because she tells the bartender that Maya is there.
Yep. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I was fine with that for the most part. Like most of the Christina stuff, like I was afraid they'd like whatever this twist was with Christina, it wouldn't land well, but I'm fine with the explanation for it. There's just other stuff about it that I don't like, but like what she is fine. To me at least.
It definitely goes on way too fucking long, that's for sure.
But there's also, it goes on for a whole season.
And there's,
that's the problem. It goes on for the whole season. It's basically just a what am I for eight episodes. So it doesn't really, it's another thing that ends up unsatisfying because there's nothing to it. She doesn't really do that much. And you want more from your Evan Rachel Woods in Westworld. Like, do something other than, what am I? Mm-hmm. But she asks Teddy about the maze and if he left it for her. And he says that he didn't, and someone else must have. And then that's when she starts to come to the realization that she's created people to interact with to wake herself up, which is close to what I predicted, except I thought she was in the real world. But I definitely thought that she conjured up Peter and Teddy for sure.
After episode 7, I was more thinking that she was going to be kind of like this, like at least like an augmented type of reality type of thing. You know, that she wasn't actually there.
Oh yeah, definitely after episode 7. Like a computer program. Teddy says so.
Yeah. Oh, does he? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like, the world's real, but you're not a part of it. Is I think what he says.
Right. Oh yeah.
So yeah, so she's talking to Teddy and about all this, and that's when Hale starts stomping on the simulation, and Teddy says that Hale's coming for him, and Christina says she's not going to give up her world so easily, but the simulation disappears, and Christina gets stuffed in a bag. So that's fun, but it's okay that she's stuffed in a bag because, as Mike explained, her control unit's still running inside the bag, and it is.
How does this even work? How does this whole thing with Christina work? Like, Christina is a version of Dolores. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that was that other missing pearl that we never got, right? That left the park in season 2.
I don't remember there being
still one missing.
I don't think there's one missing.
I thought there was still one missing this whole time. Whatever. I mean,
how many pearls did she take?
I thought 5.
So Lawrence, Musashi, Dolores, Connell, and Bernard.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I guess there wasn't one missing. What I'm confused about is, like, if she's Dolores, I guess Hale had to create this specific brain ball to be the overseer of this whole city.
It's either
and to like kind of delete her memory in a sense, and then I don't know. It just seems very odd.
The only thing that makes sense, but also doesn't make sense, is if Christina is season 3 Dolores's control unit, but that should have been wiped by RoboHam, so there shouldn't be anything in there.
Mm-hmm.
But given the memories that we've seen Christina have throughout this episode, it's the only thing that makes sense. And it's the only real reason why I feel like Hale would like imprison that unit like that, is because I have control over you now. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just a little odd. I wish I had more. I wish I had more information on how that went down and what I don't know,
Right.
how Hale made that happen.
Oh, and then the other thing that doesn't make sense with this is when she meets Hale for coffee. Is that actually Hale? Or did she make up that Hale?
Holy shit! I didn't think about that at all.
And if
that is messed up.
If that isn't real Hale should have probably fucking pumped the brakes a lot sooner. Like, as soon as she finds out that Christina's actually interacting with people, like, that's like, fucking no. Stop that shit.
Huh. Yeah, that is very weird. Well, no. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Christina just made her up, and, like, if she did, then there's some... Yeah, because she says that's her, like, college friend, right? What the fuck?
So did she invent that college friend? And I don't know. That's something we'll probably never get an answer for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, while Christina's in Hale's purse, she has a talk with Maya underneath that tree, Maya's tree, and we get the whole thing where they're talking about the natural world, and some people see chaos.
If you see a
and
tree,
ugliness.
people just see a tree and they don't realize what's going on underneath. I fucking do every fucking time I look at trees. All right, I think about that shit all the time.
I think people are aware of roots.
Yeah. Well, like how all trees like actually interact with each other through mycelium, and like they all work together, and like mycelium will give fucking different things to different trees, like that have more or lesser of stuff.
I'll be honest, Mike, I don't think about it that hard, but I am aware of roots.
All right, I probably don't think about it every time, but I think about it a lot.
Every time I see a tree, I just sit there for 30 minutes. I never go anywhere during the day because I keep stopping in front of these fucking trees.
Yeah.
And appreciating how connected they are to each other and to all of us, really.
I see the beauty in this world.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's like a lot of fucking Redditors. That's what they do. Like, I only see the beauty in the show. I just fucking look blind. This is how I watch the show.
Fuck.
It's great. It's so great.
It's the best show in the world. You're missing a great show. You're missing a great show that I'm making up in my mind, filling in the blanks that are filling in all the shit that they don't fucking do.
Hey, if you're watching this and you're on Reddit, I'm on Reddit too, so I'm a Reddit dum-dum as well. So don't be all butthurt.
His username is butthurt. U/butthurt69.
My username is don't be all butthurt.
So, yeah, we fast forward. This is when Hale connects Christina to the Sublime to move Christina's simulated world over into the Sublime. And then that's when we learn what we already knew from the beginning of the episode, that Teddy isn't real. Christina made Teddy too. And Teddy's fucking surprised. He's, I'm not real? Oh, yay, Dum Teddy's back.
That's what she keeps just talking to herself. Like,
I remember you was Dum Teddy, and Dum Teddy, you will remain.
Yeah, you're my cornerstone. Okay.
Well,
So you're just made up.
Yeah, you decided that.
Of course you are. I made you up in my mind. Like, of course you love me.
Teddy's Flood real cornerstone is sandwiches. You fucking love sandwiches.
Pastrami ones.
He'll settle for the tuna, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they waited so long for that reveal. It doesn't, like, I can't imagine anybody didn't pick up on the fact that Teddy wasn't real at the beginning of the Christina stuff. But Teddy basically says, come find him in the Sublime and don't try to bring the human world into this one. But Christina thinks there's maybe time for one last game, which is probably the 7th time we've heard that between the last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see her talking to Teddy in the scene from the last episode, except it's not Teddy, it's Dolores, blue dress Dolores. And it's basically...
Yeah, she's in a dress. Oh my God, she's back. That's what I imagine, like some people, watching the show.
I'm sure. And then that's when we learn everything is fucked, which we've been hearing that since the beginning of the season. Everything is fucked. Yeah. But then we get into all sentient life is gone or will be soon. Any survivors have maybe a few days, weeks, months as she's walking through a simulation of the ruined The City as Dolores.
Yep.
And I'm going to let the writers in on a little bit of information that they may not be aware of. There is more sentient life on Earth than just humans. Many things are sentient, just in case you weren't aware. Like if the only thing that you're basing that off of is that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation I was talking about, you might be surprised to know that there's plenty of aquatic creatures that also have sentience. Apes have sentience. So, it's not just people and hosts.
Mm-hmm. But even still, they're saying like everyone is going to be gone.
Yeah.
It just seems silly to me.
It's
like
fucking dumb.
There's plenty of outliers. Why are they going to fucking die? I mean,
because they're going to die.
Especially if you kind of hide out. I don't know. Like, whatever. Sure. I guess I just have to go with it. Like, I don't know. Even though it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, I mean, presumably because there's millions of infected fly people, you assume there's less than millions of outliers. So they're just going to get wiped out by the infected. The infected are going to wipe themselves out and the hosts.
The fucking Sublime is on Earth.
Well, Sublime's not sentient. It's a hard drive.
Okay.
And it can't even
sentient life in that, right?
It can't even withstand being turned off. Fuck. Like what if somebody just trips over the cord? No, season 5. My cat came in.
All this water, these waterfalls we got in here. Apparently, we found out they're bad for electronics. Being in a real humid environment. Whoops, Sublime's gone.
So then so now that she's in the Sublime, she uses the Sublime to return to Sweetwater and start the simulation and supposedly have a chance to run a simulation to decide the fate of whether, I guess, to restore the outside world at some point, and I guess repopulate it. Again, I don't know how that works because even if she recreates humans, if they leave through that fucking portal, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter, Tim. This is it. So there's not going to be another season. There's no fucking way there's another season. There's no way. I honestly think they were told that they're not going to have another season, but they didn't tell anybody. So
it might be true.
I'm serious.
I think you might be right.
How this ended, like, I think this is how they wanted to end the show. Shit, I've been saying it for like the past 2 seasons that this show is going to end like some fucking stupid way like this. Like it's all one big loop and, it's all simulation. Like, and that's what they're basically showing us.
Yeah. So after you watch the series finale of Season 4, Episode 8, you get to go watch Westworld Season 1, Episode 1 again, and just put yourself on a fucking hamster wheel of disappointment forever. Great. Good
Pretty
job.
much.
Thanks, Joy and Nolan. I wish I was a host and you printed me with 2 dicks so you can both suck it. Fuck. So mad. I've never been so mad at the show before. It's weird. I don't like it. It makes me feel gross.
Well, I want to give the writers a
punch combo.
That's right. There's so many other things to be mad in the world about, and they're making me pissed off about this show. And I've never been pissed off about the show before. Oh, but at any rate,
it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, again, like the things that are stupid about this was the brain ball being active in the purse. And again, we had that discussion, I guess episode 4 was the Caleb twist. And we were like, does that mean while Maeve's buried underground, her like program's still running after she got blown up, even though she didn't really get blown up, she was still in one piece. So I don't know what the fuck those explosives did, but okay. So, Brain balls don't, and her control unit was shut down. Bernard had to replace it. So brain balls don't work that way, unless of course they have to for the story, in which case they do. So, again, the Teddy reveal was not a reveal. It was a big, well, no shit when they revealed it. And so for me, it probably
at least even when they revealed it, like at the very beginning and when she starts talking, if you didn't get it by the, 5 minutes in of her fucking just telling you exactly what's happening
yeah.
and who she is, then yeah, I didn't. That's what was kind of confusing at the end too. I'm like, yeah, he's made up. What? I know he's in your mind. Like, why? Wait, you're showing this? Like, why are you going through this? This is fucking taking forever. Yeah. What are you doing?
So, I know it would have been.
You told me at the beginning of the episode that you were fucking.
I made everybody up, but I guess I made you up too. I thought you might still be here. But yeah, for me, it probably would have been more impactful if you just revealed the sad Teddy stuff at the beginning of the episode at the same time. And then you just bring him, and then you could still bring him back for that scene and say, like, do the cornerstone thing, come find me in your world. I recreated you from memory, blah, blah, blah. You can do both of those. But had you separated those, I think that probably would have been more satisfying for the viewer. But, whatever.
Yeah, not a big fan of this kind of looping around stuff. But then I know other people say, no, that's not what is happening. Like, well, they're kind of making it look like everything we even saw in, like, season 1, that's going to happen again. Or even that season 1 was a simulation. They're kind of hinting at that.
Fuck that. Fuck everything about the simulation stuff. Like, it's fine if you do it's fine if you do it a little bit with the aspect ratio, so the viewer knows it. But if you basically make it so it's like, oh, by the way, the past 4 seasons have been a lie. It's like, well, fuck you. You've just wasted my time.
Dude, season 5 is just going to be season 1, but the whole time it's just going to have an aspect ratio.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, fuck everything about this.
That would be fucking awesome.
Fuck everything about this return to Westworld and the Sublime. I mean, you've removed all the stakes at the end of this episode. It's like the worst case scenario has already happened. All sentient life is dead. There is nothing to care about. Who's going to come back to watch digital people maybe become humans again? Especially after you've killed most of your cast, even though you haven't really, because nobody dies. But it's...
Yeah, I don't really see a point.
There's no point. So, yeah, I don't
understand it. I don't know what the point is. Like, even... I mean, all the hosts are essentially human, in a sense. Like, they're written by humans, like, yeah, sure, they're evolved, I guess, more in a sense, but I don't know. I don't understand the point of even making humans at this point, or even...
well, that's the problem. They're not humans, though. And that's like the important thing in a show or a story. You need something to empathize with. And... like, you can feel bad that the humans are mistreating the hosts, but if it's like whether or not hosts are going to inhabit a planet that's already extinct, there's no fucking stakes there. There's nothing to care about. It's like they either make it out of the simulation into the world or they don't. It's like, okay, well, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, what are they going to do when they get out?
Right.
I don't know.
Especially if all sentient life is gone.
Why can't they do it in the fucking real world? Why do they have to do this in the Sublime? I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I guess because you can't have infected humans attacking you while you're trying to do your simulation, but that's me writing the show again. But again, if all humans are dead, or they have like a few days to a few weeks to a few months to live, oh, great. Frankie and her girlfriend get out of the city, but oh, sorry, they basically die off screen now. So there was no reason to invest in those characters. So fuck off with this show. So... or ultimately, Caleb and all.
They all just had to be there because of Bernard. He found it. That's the only way.
That was and even then, it wasn't necessary. They just decided to do it that way. It's like there's the outliers only exist for Bernard to get to Maeve, for Maeve to do nothing, and we have
Maeve was a distraction, and And since that had to happen, so then that Hale would be killed, and then it would help her think differently. I fucking know, man. Like it's all dumb. The way
this is what I'm talking about
happens.
when I'm saying the writers enjoy smelling their own farts so much. That's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was no reason to care. There's no reason to be invested in Frankie or Caleb's story at all. Like none of that mattered.
Yeah.
So fuck it. So we do the wrap up at this point, Mike, and where we have the summary of questions that have been answered or what new questions this episode presents. And my main question is, why should anybody give a fuck?
Mm-hmm.
There's no stakes, no one to empathize with. And I don't know. I think we talked about this one already. Did the season actually manage to be worse than season 3?
I would say so.
I think the answer to that is yes. This is way worse than season 3. Which makes it the worst season. Only because of 3 episodes. Because of 3 episodes where they just let everything shit the bed.
Yeah.
And then...
It was not good. I did not enjoy any part of it, I don't think. I don't think I have any good... I haven't had any good thing to say about this episode.
I like the actors. I just wish the story was better.
Yeah. Well, I don't think really it's the actor's fault. And even like people that are saying some people are like bad actors like Aaron Paul or like, I don't think he's a bad actor. I think for what he was given, he did a good job at what he was given to do. Yeah. He was supposed to be that way. So like even Hale, who plays Hale? What is her name? Tessa Thompson. You know, I think they really fucked up when they made Hale Loris, because then Tessa Thompson had to act like she talked this fucking stupid way the whole last like 2 seasons. It was awful. Like but that's what she was tasked with doing. She was supposed to do that. She's supposed to be talking like Dolores, you know, and it's boring as shit.
Yeah.
I wish they gave her a little more of Hale's personality, because Tessa Thompson season 1 is great.
I think they do give her some of that, because it's hard to imagine Dolores walking around saying God is bored and making a person share. So I think there's like I think her living as Hale, similar to how host William lived as William, as like an imitation, that Hale Loris or Chair Loris is basically still Charlotte Hale with an underlying of Wyatt.
Yeah. I don't know, just the way she talks the whole time. Like real breathy, and it's kind of boring. One noted. Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, you were a big not fan of season 8 of Game of Thrones. How many season 8s of Game of Thrones would you take over season 3 and 4 of Westworld?
A sublime's worth. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Even with that Game of Thrones
23
ending.
years in the sublime.
I agree. I think this is, especially if it's a series finale, man, fucking season 8 of Game of Thrones looks like a goddamn masterpiece compared to Westworld right now.
Definitely does. And I'm really hoping this new Game of Thrones show doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
I am a little worried. Just because, like, I don't know. I hope some fucking stupid executive wasn't like, no, man, the whole reason I like Game of Thrones is because of the dragons. We need lots and lots of dragons. All about the dragons, man. So I hope they just don't fucking overdo this shit.
Well, supposedly,
and realize it's more about the characters and the story. And, you know, I'm super, super excited.
I am too. I'm excited that we get to go back to our roots. I'm worried. Watchers on the Couch gets to go back to Westeros. That's going to be cool. I'm very excited that Matt Smith, the guy that had played Doctor Who, that is Daemon Targaryen or something like that in this upcoming episode, apparently said he thought there was too many sex scenes in Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes. We're
going to get those tits and dragons big time in season 1, at least. Really, really hook everybody in.
You know, that's what this season was missing. This season of Westworld.
Tits and dragons.
All shows. Dragons would have definitely
what
been
if Better Call Saul had more tits and dragons?
All right. I still haven't watched that season finale yet. I might watch it tonight. I got shit to do though.
I think
after this.
Yeah, I think if Westworld does renew for a season 5, though, I think we're going to find out that they're going to walk back a lot of that Dolores monologue because I think they painted themselves in a corner with that. That's basically just a cop out in case they don't get renewed.
Should have had more boobies in the season.
Yeah.
You know, and fucking like Christina getting in the stupid fucking bathtub. What the fuck? Either get naked or get on with your clothes on. Like, it's distracting. It was stupid as shit. Like, and I don't give a shit if I see her naked. I've seen her naked a bunch on, the show. So, but like, it was fucking stupid. Why would you get in the bath? You would take half your clothes off? You're just going to have fucking wet underwear the rest of the time? Like, either you get in with fully clothed, which I think would be more reasonable, or you get in naked. All wet clothes or no wet clothes. It's pretty simple.
You have to do laundry.
And her drowning herself? She has to drown herself? Like, I didn't even get that at first when she was doing it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I think she wanted to see if she'd die, which usually
is
usually they die and somebody has to repair them and bring them back online.
Yep.
But
all right. Like fucking Bernard, even when he was talking about the sublime. Man, the fucking Hoover Dam should have flooded. Should have flooded. It should have all went away. The whole world extinct. No sublime.
Yeah.
Fuck this show.
Fuck this show. All right, well, but don't fuck this show. And hopefully you join us next week. Like I said, Mike and I are getting back to our roots. We're going back to Westeros. We're covering Game of Thrones House of the Dragon starting next week. Would have been nice to get a break, but nope. We're going to keep on pushing on. Yep. If you're subscribed to the Watchers on the Couch Westworld only feed, consider subscribing to the Watchers on the Couch Game of Thrones feed as well, and you can join us there. Otherwise, if you are subscribed to the Watchers on the Couch main feed, you don't have to do shit. It's just going to come right into your ear hole, as usual. So, until next week, I'm Tim.
And I'm Mike.
And
keep questioning why we fucking keep watching this show.
And now our watch is beginning. See you next week.
That's it.
Hey, if you've watched this far, let me just say thanks. It means a lot that you take the time to listen. And if you enjoyed the show, I hope you'll consider giving us the old thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. You don't have to do it. Just consider it. You don't even have to smash anything. Except my hopes and dreams.